like words of encouragement from her. Like when I give her my phone, I say like, you encourage them. Yes. That's good. It's like, so Vivi's Salvadorian, right? And like, I have some solid friends that are Salvi, and I wish I had some of their books in my car. Yeah. I have like so much Chicanas, like, I saw a nice thing really cool, the anthology, so much Chicanas, but then there's really Chicana. And I was like, Chicana's like a very particular, like, like, it's like California, Mexican American, but like generational. Okay. So it's like very particular. I don't consider myself Chicana. Okay. I consider myself Spanish. Okay. So like, there's like in Latin culture, there's just like so many different like signifiers, and like a lot of people like try to always like people who are like Central American Chicano or it's very like isolated place if you're not Mexican. Yeah. And like it was also from Maryland. Yeah. She so it's just like she uses her own like so like I wish I just had some of my Salvi friend poets like with me. Yes. You should have love that. Yeah. Maybe I'll just build that for her. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like that. You can even be like, you know, I have some, I'm a poet and I have some friends that are poets that I think their books are really speak to me. And I want to be able to, Yeah, I'll bring that up. Like, I have a friend, like, it's like, so now there's like this poet I have, like, Crystal. She's a Salvadorian. I just think, like, it's important to have, like, make the it doesn't, like, she had, like, this episode, but that's not that part of it. That's, like, and, like, I wouldn't even think about that, I would really, if I didn't know my partner, if I wasn't with my partner who's also, he's Central American paper logger, I wouldn't, like, think about, like, Central Americanness and, like, all, like, how it varies so much to, like, Mexicanness. But I just really wish, like, why don't I have this book? Yes! I do trades with people all the time. I was like,
ladies and gentlemen, and every other fucking gender, Helluva cast panel. But before we begin, a little work in progress coming this summer.
How's it looking more reels?
Today we're dealing with a children's entertainer. Goes by Mr. Wrigglers. That must be a good one for you and me, and I think you know why.
Yeah. I hate that sunshine and rainbow shit. These guys always turn out to be sickos. Where are we? His third world sex resort? His slave cold compound?
I just thought he would be really easy. I gotta dive! Okay, you go on and I'll just sneak in.
Holy shit, that was just unlocked.
Well, of course. My door's always open to a new friend. Would you happen to be an orphan?
Am I a what?
An orphan.
Yeah, actually I am.
How did you from the charity event?
Yes.
Well, isn't that just a wonderful thing that makes you special? What can I do to brighten up your day?
Yeah, you can cut the Santa Claus shit. I actually came to kill you.
Oh, heavens. These wish things sure have gotten mighty extreme. Well, if that would make you happy, you're more than welcome. Anything for an orphan.
He's an orphan too. He has blooditis.
Hello there, special friend.
Hi. What's the deal here? Are you waiting on me?
Yeah, I was just about to shoot him. You want to get comfortable or any last requests?
Oh, I wouldn't want to be a bother. Given your limited time left on this earth, I'd like you to enjoy it.
We might have a sec. What is it?
I just want to say goodbye to my children.
I think we can swing that.
Wait, what?
That's very kind. Thank you.
Luna, what Saint Sphincter has gotten into you?
I don't know. Would it really be the worst thing to let a dad spend some time with his kids?
That's what I'm saying. He's being a total dick. Just make it quick, you shriveled nutsack. How do we feel about that, everyone? That was a small taste of one of the many shorts that are being worked on for this year. Coming along, but as we learned yesterday, we're reminded animation takes a long time. Thank you. That's the audience participation I'm looking for right now. Thank you so much. We are ready to do part one of our Helluva cast panel, starting with our main cast. Are we ready to introduce them, everyone? Our cast, of course, we have to introduce first the woman who gave birth to all of these demons. Vivian Madrano! Next up, we have the voice of Blitz, Brandon Rogers. In real life than your character. That's just... Next up, I want to introduce them together because I love them so much. I'm going to bring on Millie and Moxie, Richard Horvis and Vivian Williams. Next up, our favorite hellhound and clearly the star of the next short, the voice of Luna, Erica Lindman. Next up, the latest reluctant recruit of IMP, the voice of Soulless Bryce Pinkham. Welcoming back to the stage after getting to introduce him last year, the voice of Fizzaroli, Alex Brightman. And because I got the pleasure of introducing Alex on stage for the first time last year, we have a new member of the cast who gets to join us for the first time on stage. But you know what, Alex? How about you introduce the man himself?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute honor to bring the embodiment of lust to the stage, my boyfriend, Ozzy, James Monroe. Thanks, Daddy.
Oh, I've been waiting over a year for that to happen. Everyone, thank you so much for having nothing better to do today. We made a massive announcement yesterday that is beyond thrilling, which is that Helluva Boss is going to be joining Hasbro Hotel as a full... Were you listening at all yesterday? And to remind him that yes, he is actually on the panel today. That we are now getting a united Helluverse. And with that comes a lot of advantages, including we have to censor a lot of things for YouTube. Viv, are we going to have to do that for Amazon? No. Can you hear Viv? We might not be able to hear ourselves on stage. Can we hear you out? Can you hear us out there?
Can you guys hear me? All right. Okay. Well, yeah, something I didn't get to say yesterday that I was like, oh man, that I should have said that. So yeah, as you guys know, YouTube is very, it's YouTube, and it has rules and it has restrictions, and we've had to censor many of our episodes. And I totally forgot to mention that, yeah, when you guys get the series on Amazon, it'll be totally uncensored. And that goes for the future. Like, it means that when it comes to certain kinds of scenes or just anything, you know, just whatever it is, like, we don't have to worry about that as much. We can't go, oh, how do we like make this much less explicitly horny? Because YouTube would never allow that. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
So let me ask you this, knowing that we're not going to have to worry about that for Amazon, Viv going into writing the rest of the series, is this giving you a free pass to make this even raunchier, hornier, and foul-mouthed than it already was?
Yeah.
Then let me ask you all, what expletive are you most looking forward to appearing on Prime Video, Brandon? Your favorite swear word?
Oh, I love a good cunt. The only people who I believe truly are cunts are the ones who are offended by that word. And Daddy Amazon they like cunt.
We also, that was basically for very good Amazon fans out there. Yeah, that's going to be the cunt cut.
Yeah.
We said it a lot, and we always added a honk sound because we were like, he says it too much.
Vivian and Richard, your favorite expletive, and can you give us a line as well of your favorite line that you're looking forward to appearing again?
I'm gonna go with, damn it!
You're so sweet.
Shut the fuck up! That was the sound of a fucking divorce!
I will fucking kill you! But I'm really hoping they let him say, motherfucker, that was amazing.
And I'll switch it up a bit. I'm not looking forward to any swear words, but I am looking forward to the world's first animated full penetration scene. With Ozzy and Fizz coming at you next season. FP, 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 FP.
Yeah, I think it was Hentiverse.
To the Prime team, I told you I was on my best behavior yesterday. It was not going to be the case today. Apologies in advance. This is not going to get better. We have had an amazing arc for so many of our characters on this show, and I would love to hear, now that we're done with season 2, I want to start with Brandon here. Blitz went from being an underdog trying to prove himself in season 1 to finishing season 2 with all of Imp City cheering his name, hanging banners, and treating him as a local hero. How did you feel once you realized Blitz was going to get to this point? How do you feel he felt towards the end of season 2, getting all of this recognition?
It was a big weight off of my shoulders because I care a lot.
Also,
about
is there anybody from, can we get some of the sound off in the next fucking room, because Jesus fucking Christ.
We're having the homophobe rally. There's a dump truck back there. They're just
They listen to my voice for 2 seconds and they're just like, let's round that the fuck out.
Yeah. How did it feel having, well, it felt really validating. You know, I've always been on Blitz's side, and it was very emotional to see other people in this universe start to, side with him and root for him. It's very, very touching to have a character you love get what they want. And what the fuck is so funny?
Well, is that close enough? I don't know. I think it's kind of.
You're really gonna want to deep throat that fucking thing to get your voice out there.
Yeah, you're gonna want to Purell this fucker. Blitz. Yeah, I'd fuck him.
Thrilling. Vivian. She's already tired of this.
Exhausted.
You have a newborn, and we're more exhausting.
Congrats!
Yes, confirmed. There's a big moment in Ghostfuckers where Millie sees the IMP office for the first time and feels like she might not be good enough to deserve an office like this, especially coming from the same sort of humble origins as Blitz did. There's a bit of this interaction where Blitz is encouraging Millie to rise higher than she thinks she can go. And I'm curious how you feel the character did that switch from feeling like she wasn't worthy of that to getting to this point of huge confidence in the show where she feels basically unstoppable.
I think we all have a little imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Right? And so feeling that way, telling my brain that I can do it, I'm worthy of it, making it happen is the first step to honoring the truth and validating what you're worthy of, right? And so that's my journey in life. I mean, when I booked this show, I had imposter syndrome. And now here we are on a stage in front of hundreds of fans and millions of people online, and I own it now because I believe it.
And well, I didn't even want to ask a question because it's being all cute over there. Richard, what do you think Moxie's biggest growth moment in the show has been so far? Because we get quite a bit of it in his conversations with Blitz and Truth Seekers. We get a lot of that in Unhappy Campers. We get a lot of that in whatever the fuck this sound coming through the speaker is. Yeah, exactly. But what do you feel was like a very, very big growth moment for Moxie in the series so far?
I think you kind of hit it on the head in Unhappy Campers, because Moxie is very kind of self-absorbed, but not intentionally. You know, I think like Viv was talking about, you know, he suffers from insecurity a lot, and so I think his ability to hear Millie and hear her concerns that I had made it about me, the biggest theater kid nerd ever, and I think that was his biggest growth. It's like to take in somebody else's feelings. I mean, we see it in the relationship a lot, but particularly in that, it's like Moxie is just so OCD and insecure about everything going off exactly right, like bankruptcy. And, so I think that's where he just went, okay, we're okay. Millie can have the spotlight, and we're good, you know? So that's the growth.
I love that. Thank you so much. I don't know what's happening out there at all.
Like the rapture is happening.
If the rapture's happy, that explains why we're all here and not here. Erica, I want to talk to you about some daddy-daughter issues and kind of your developing relationship with Blitz, because where you were at the beginning of the series with Blitz, not even wanting to call him dad, to this very warm place you're at with Blitz towards the end of season 2, that has been a major character-changing moment there. And I'd love to hear from you, like, how do you feel Luna sees Blitz by the end of season 2 at this stage?
Well, I think she put it pretty plainly in that scene with Octavia and Seeing Stars, right? Like, people do their best, and sometimes that's like, nobody is perfect, and as long as someone is trying and making a concerted effort to like improve who they are, improve their relationship with you, and like you do the same, like that's what matters, and that's enough. And I think she's realizing that. Again, I said this yesterday, but like not everybody is out to hurt her. And yeah, I would say like Luna's arc has just been, it's the softening, you know, like she's learning that there's nuance in this world, and she doesn't have to always be in like fight or flight constantly. Yeah. Also, I have to say, my dad is in the audience.
that, I love how, like, I love that really shows your emotional connection with the character. That it's like clearly you feel that direct bond, that direct relation.
So much, yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, no, I hate my dad. Fuck you.
I wanted to shout out Erica. Erica's emotion that you put into Luna, like I've witnessed like so many times in the recording process. And it's so amazing. Like you put so much into Luna.
I need to go back on my SSRIs.
Oh man. Actually, I would love to ask Viv, did you always intend Luna's arc to be like this? Did you know from the start that Luna and Blitz were going to start patching things up midway through the series at this stage, and where that growth is going to come from when you started this?
Yeah, I mean, Luna was definitely one where I knew the arc with Blitz, but I think our challenge and what we found through writing the show, because I think we wanted her journey to be organic. And now that we're at the midpoint, and obviously, like I said yesterday, the show's mapped out. We know exactly where it ends. I know kind of every episode that exists in it, even if it isn't physically written yet. And so we know her arc, and that was something though that what became I think organically started in season 2. Season 2 is really where we were okay, this is the direction. For real, these characters are going. We knew the direction in season 1, but in season 2, we were that's when the show got mapped out. So,
Yeah.
So, so starting in season 2, we started these things that we expand on in season 3, and eventually 4, and it's one of those things where her arc with Blitz was the focus at first, but then we were but she needs an arc, her own personal arc, and that's where we landed as we were doing season 2, and so I'm really excited for people to see where it goes, because I think it's a really nice one for her character.
There's so much in season 3. I'm so excited for you guys to see.
And speaking of arcs, Bryce, we are at a dark point in Stolas' arc, a very, very dark point. But at the same time, as we're following a lot of these themes of love and sacrifice in the series, Stolas makes one of the biggest sacrifices we see in the series so far, where he steps up in a way that causes him to lose everything. And I'd love to hear from you when you first read Mastermind and knew what point Stolas was going to get to by the end of it, where we're kind of finally going to get to this big turning point in his relationship with Blitz, him losing everything he has. What were you thinking when you first read that script and knew where the character was going?
I was thinking I would probably be softly shitting myself in the booth, having to do it. But I did, didn't I? Yeah, I might have done. Yeah. I think that the way that I have framed how to think about that moment is, if you were given the chance to save the life of someone you loved, would you do it, or would you stop and think about all the consequences and then maybe not do it? I think you would do it. I would, and then I would deal with the consequences. And I think you're right. We're in a place now where Stolas has to deal with the consequences, but. Someone said it yesterday, this show, despite being foul-mouthed and being set in hell, is a show about love. And I think that throughout each character's storyline, there is a touch point of love, and that end of season 2 for Stolas is a demonstration that love comes in many different complicated ways. It's not a Hallmark card, it's a really complicated emotion. But it will make you it will make certain choices for you that you don't have a choice. And I think that's how I look at it. There was no choice for Stolas to do what he did. And now we get to see the consequences, including being poor now.
Thank you so much. Look, I'm just trying to get over to James, so I'm going to ask Alex this question so I can talk to James. Let's be real here.
Let's get real.
Alex, I would love to talk to you a little bit about where Fizz is at by the end of it, especially after patching up this rocky relationship with Blitz and learning more about their past. and especially breaking up his relationship with Mammon and that sort of cycle of abuse. So I'd love to talk with you, patching up with Blitz, the getting away from Mammon's control, and where Fizz is now in his life with Ozzy.
Nothing makes me happier than to be able to tell people when they come to the table how much, and when they like Fizz, they like the stories, to be able to say without giving anything away, then you are going to love the next number of episodes with Fizz. Because you have no reason to trust me. But we've seen Fizz go through so much shit, trudging through anxiety, going through every possible emotion that isn't positive, and the only positive thing in his life is this guy right here. And I think his arc is a metaphor for people that need to finally find someone or something to break out of your shell and to say, like, fuck you to the person you want to say fuck you to. Take ownership for who you are. Be good by your own criteria, not others, and stop being the expectations of others. And once he learns that, as I've seen in so many other people's costumes, you get one of the best costumes in the entire thing, which is Healthy Fizz with the rainbow pants. And so what I'm thrilled about now is that he gets to have his cake and eat it too now, which is like friends, lovers, fun. And so I'm looking forward to that Fizz. So that's gonna be very exciting. It's all due to this big fucker here, and I'm excited about it. Talking to me, let's talk to James.
Listen, James Iglehart is a goddamn Broadway legend. And we've been trying to get this man on the road with us at these conventions, but he keeps getting cast in starring roles on Broadway, so it's been very, very hard. But finally we have him. I'm going to get into season 2 stuff, but I need to backtrack a bit. Can you talk a little bit about joining the show and meeting Viv for the first time? How did you get mixed up into all of this?
This is one of the coolest things that ever happened in my life. So I was doing Aladdin at the time, and this wonderful young lady walks up to the autograph line, and she has this picture that she's drawn in her own style of the genie. And I'm an animation buff. I mean, so since I was a kid, I love cartoons. And I saw it, I thought it was so cool. And she says, "Hi, I'm Viv, and I'm an animator." And I was like, "Seriously?" So we start talking, and I bring her and her family backstage. And we're backstage, we're talking, we're chilling, and she's like, "I've got this idea for a show." And I literally looked at her, me and my boy Don Daryl Rivera, who was playing Yago at the time. We were like, "Yo, if you ever need voices, let us know." And she's like, "Are you serious?" We're like, "No, we are dead ass serious. If you ever need voices, let us know." So she creates the first has-been hotel for YouTube, and there's a lizard, almost like a Tyrannosaurus Rex type character that I did a voice for in my dressing room at Hamilton on my phone. Yeah. So I sent it to her, it's on there. Next thing I know, kid you not, my agent calls about like a year later. She's like, "Yeah, we got this show. We don't know what it is, but you've been offered it." I'm like, "Who is this?" And I saw her name and I was like, "Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, I don't give a damn what it is. Yes, that's what we're doing." And then I was in my closet recording Osmodius' song, and I remember Viv, we're online, Viv is in her room, Richard is someplace, Richard gets online, I see Richard, I realize who Richard is, I turn off my camera, I scream like a bitch in the room, I come back in, I tell my wife, I'm like, "Oh my God, Richard from Bill and Mandy, oh my God!" And then I go back in like a Broadway star, record the song. And that's where we are. So all I've got to say about that is, that woman right there is the epitome of, if you believe in yourself enough, you can do whatever the hell you think you can do. This woman walked up. She walked up bold to a Broadway show and said, "Yo, I have a dream. Do you want to be a part of it?" And I was like, "Yes, sis, let's go." And here we are. So,
to give some of the love back though, because like for me, like, you know, so I had just graduated SVA, which was my college in New York City. I hadn't funny enough, I hadn't seen that many shows at that point in my life. Now I go and I see every show on Broadway as much as possible. But like at that time, you know, I was a struggling, like theater fan, but like, you know, in art school, just graduated, and we had like our senior week. And so that was like, I was like, I'm gonna see as many Broadway shows. I've been here like for 4 years, haven't seen anything. I'm gonna go see it. And so I saw Aladdin, and you were starring as the genie, and blew me away. And yeah, I went to the stage door, and we chatted about animation for so long, and you gave me the time of day. And that was such an incredible moment, because then I was like, I'm working I just graduated animation school. You were like, that's so cool. Like you cared, and you gave me like we talked for a bit, and then it was and then you were like, I want to see your stuff, so like the story you just told, and I was like, oh my god, like and that gave me a sense of hope that I really needed, because I'm sure a lot of people here are either in art school or have graduated art school, and you need that moment of like, you leave it and you go, oh my gosh, like oh god, like now I have to get a job, now I have to like actually try to make it happen, because in art school you dream it, but you don't, you're like, yeah, but I got time, I'm not done yet, and so for me it came at that right time of like, oh my gosh, like a Broadway singer who's incredible and this amazing performer like is interested in my work and like has faith in me, and you had that faith, like in me as I started my journey and grew, and that's why being in that pilot mattered so much to me. And that's why I was like, even if you record on your phone, like we'll animate, and I personally animated that shot. And it was so special, and so I genuinely thank you, because I needed that boost, and you were the first person in the Broadway world to give me that. So
I always in my head have the Vivian Medrano biopic being written, and right now it starts in 1999, 2000. A young teenage Vivian Medrano is
played by Richard in a wig.
Yes, is sketching her favorite shows. We zoom in to see it's Invader Zim. Yeah. Good to Hot Topic. A young Vivian Medrano says, someday Hot Topic. Someday. Cut to New York.
2014, I
Yes.
guess.
2014, we see a young Vivian in line at Aladdin. And in my mind, Viv is like Slugworth in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where she just keeps showing up. And I get a note, Vivian Medrano, James, Vivian Medrano? Brandon in the middle of a YouTube video, what the fuck? Vivian fucking Medrano!
I love this. I want to watch this.
By the way, the end journey of that is that you can walk into Hot Topic right now, and one side is Invader Zim, and the other side is Helluva.
I just went back home to the Bay Area, and I went, yo, what's up, man? Love you, Bay Area. Walked into Hot Topic. That is not a joke. On one side is Invader Zim, and on the other side is the Helluverse. And I literally I took a picture of my wife. I was like, you will not believe this.
James, I'm not sure if you'll believe this, but towards the end of May, do you know that we're getting a Fizz Aussie shirt in Hot Topics? And if this wasn't a great segue, I know a lot of you are going to be buying that, but check underneath your chairs, because 5 of you have a gift card to Hot Topic underneath your chairs right now. If you get it, raise it up and scream. And we got one right there! We got one right there! We got one right there! We got one over there! We find them all. We find them all. We found them all. Afterwards, come up with a phone together. So we already set you up. It's $25 to Hot Topic to go and all new Pride merch launching next month. How the fuck did that setup happen? That was crazy.
Perfect time.
All right, now we gotta talk. We gotta talk a little bit more about Fizmodius. We gotta talk a little bit about Fizmodius. I've got to. Number one, the chemistry between the two of you is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I gotta know, you guys knew each other before this show, right? Of course, of course. Talk to me about how far the two of you go back and how you two met. I'm now interviewing somebody like they're in an actual relationship.
The funny thing is, I'm old and he's mid-old. So we're both from the Bay. We were doing Bay Area theater, but we're in different generations. He was actually acting with my cousin, my younger cousin, and I didn't meet Alex. I knew of Alex, and Alex knew of me, but we didn't meet each other until we got to New York. And we would see each other on the streets and be like, yo, Bay Area.
James did a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat with my little brother.
So, and his brother was like one of the colorful rainbow sheep. And I was one of the brothers, because there ain't no brothers in that show. So to see him on the street and see where his career was going and know we were both from the same place, and we're both comedians and we both like silly comedy and raunchy comedy, and then our chemistry was just there. What's funny is we actually did Helluva Boss first before we actually acted on stage together.
Wow.
So we didn't actually act on stage together until Spamalot.
Which I had the pleasure of seeing, and it was just phenomenal seeing.
We've just been stupid on the streets together for a while.
It's very fun to be in love with your good friend. I highly recommend it.
Who called who first when you found out that you two were going to be acting opposite each other in Helluva?
I think James texted me about it because I think you knew I was already on it. I can't remember, but I just remember being so excited. I'm always excited when James's name pops up on my phone because it's going to be a fun thing no matter what. Or a nude. In fact, I think... No, but I think it was James reached out to me and then we sort of started, talking about what it is and both got very excited about it. So it's only just gotten more exciting. The more scripts we get, the more things we hear, we're like the first ones we talk to about it because we have a lot of scenes together and it's the best. Yeah, it's the greatest in the world. That's serendipity.
I'd love to add too that officially, because in the pilot we had a group record, very very far long ago, and I'd love to do more. That's the plan. The plan is to do more group records, but so far you guys are the only two that have done a recording session at the same time in person together.
It's the greatest.
And it was really fun. You guys did an improv bit. There was obviously the back and forth in the script, but you guys, we just kind of let you go for one take, and you added to it, and it's a very it's like a flirty scene, but you guys just played with it and made it so much funnier, and we're using that.
It's funny because the only other time on stage we've worked together was essentially the same thing. All we had to do was look each other in the eyes and fuck around, and we got paid for it, and so that's the best in the world too. So all I know of James is trying to make him laugh or come.
Neither is hard.
I love it. And the two of your relationship, the Fizmodius relationship in the show, it has a lot of parallels to Blitz and Stoles' relationship, to the point that, we kind of see the comparison between how they are together and how Blitz and Stoles are, except in the case of you two, much healthier. Much healthier relationship. I'm fucking saying, you know what you did. All right?
I have not seen the show.
Before getting more into the toxicity, I'm just going to get into the wholesome shit before I talk to you about all the toxic bullshit you put in.
I am wholesome with a capital H. Just saying.
Well played. Well played.
That is true. You are some hole. For you two, the big moment in which Osmodius finally admits publicly, instead of hiding it, that they are in a romantic relationship, not just a lust-filled relationship that's very hollow, but one that's actually grounded in real love. Can you talk a little bit about that moment and that sort of big, sort of outward, public display that Osmodius did that could have put so much, Yeah.
It's not our fault that you are emotionally immature. Talking to you, Blitz. There's a question being asked about the love that we have, and you're flipping people off. It's not our fault. This man tried. He tried with you.
They started it. I did not start it. I just gave it back.
That is shit. You are dressed like us. We love you. You know that thing, baby. So
I hope someone animates that, by the way. I'm just imagining Osmodius talking down at Blitz, like, you know what you need.
I think the fun part about it was that playing Osmodius, he has a huge ego, but at the same time, he has enough heart to go, I love this boy. I love this man. And he's strong enough within himself to not give a fuck what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to give a fuck when you're 100 feet tall. I mean, what you gonna do to me? You know? And there is something amazingly sweet and pure about my fizzy frog. That lets, you know, Ozzy know he can be himself. He can't be himself around Mammon. He can't be himself around Stolas. He's got to be the demon of lust. He's got to be one of the elder statesmen, but around him, he can be himself, and I understand that because I'm James Monroe Eichelhart in New York. But when I'm at home, I'm just James. And with my wife, I can be myself. So I told Viv that when I'm saying the lines to Fizz, I'm thinking about Dawn. Because I know what that's like, and I know what that means. And I was so happy that we were able to express that love. I was so happy that we were able to say it out loud. And, you know, I know Stolas is dealing with the consequences, but I think for Osmodius, he's more like, well, yeah, let's deal with the consequences, please. He's one of those guys, like some people say, you know, I hope nothing happens. He doesn't hope. He goes, I wish a motherfucker would say something to us. Osmodius is definitely a wish person. I wish somebody said something about this. Because if you do, you know, you're going to fuck around and find out.
And one last question. James, do you think Osmodius could kick Mammon's ass?
Yes. I'll say this. Yesterday was my first day at the con, and I love you all. A wonderful young lady walked up dressed like Mammon. I just looked at her, I was like, how dare you? Because for me, yes, baby, how you doing, mommy? Good to see you. So, you know, for me, reading that scene was one thing, but then seeing it on screen, my wife and I are watching, she's like, you okay? And I'm like, I'm calling Viv, because I got to whip this motherfucker's ass. Because he's gonna say the wrong thing one time too many about me, about Fizz, and it's on. It's just on. Because there's something about fighting when you have something to fight for. Mammon has nothing to fight for. I do. So he'll get some good licks in, but by the end, that boy's big ass is down. That's just the way it is.
Any other questions? All right, let's go down the line now. You got one day to spend with your character. Go out and do anything together. Alex, what are you spending the day doing with Fizz?
I'm gonna go to a theme park, and because Fizz and I, you know, like we could probably have a really nice time on some roller coasters. I think that after that we would go to the Olive Garden. Because when you're there, you're family.
Yeah.
So, and he's very family oriented. And I think after that, I think that would be a lot for the day. I feel like it was a sunny day, so we feel like we're very tired from the sun. And so I just think an early night in, Jeopardy, old Jeopardy, Alex Trebek Jeopardy. And then I think just a medium amount of fisting and we go to bed. You asked.
And answer. James, a day with Ozzy. What are you guys doing?
I'm pretty sure Ozzy and I would start the day off, see as many Broadway shows as we could,
Yeah.
probably hit a comic book shop. Then we go to Red Lobster. I understand your family, but if you look at on a Friday night, on a date night, all the black people are usually at Red Lobster. So, me and Ozzy at Red Lobster. Then we probably find a karaoke bar and just start singing old R&B songs together. You know, just all the way from, you know, the 80s Temptations all the way to the 90s, you know, come up, Boys to Men, just do all that shit. And then we go home and, you know, probably turn on some soft, sexy music and, you know, see what we can do.
Let that be a lesson, everyone. And never hire a VA who doesn't want to fuck their character. Do you think Ozzy has a favorite Broadway?
Yeah.
What do they got?
Mine. Knowing Ozzy, anything with a baritone in it. So it'd be Aladdin, it'd be Ragtime, it'd be Spamalot, because I'm in it. Yeah, Memphis, all the ones with the brothers in it that really sing low.
Yeah.
So, you know, Hades Town, all the ones. If a brother's singing low, Osmodeus is there.
Bryce, a day out with Stolz, and do keep in mind you're paying.
The theme of the day would be therapy. We would start with some retail therapy. Find him some new fits. Then we would go to talk therapy. I'd let him talk, and I'd listen. And then we would go to the spa. We'd get preened. We'd get his feathers preened. We'd be at the spa. And then we'd go out for some dinner therapy. Which is just dinner. Good dinner that I would pay for. It wouldn't need to be that good, actually, considering the cooking he's currently dealing with.
This panel of cocksuckers is
And sure, with the proper consent, maybe some sexual therapy.
Once again, Blitz, we knew what you fucking did. We know what you fucking
You
did.
don't know what I fucked.
We have seen what you fucked, and you can see it all soon on Prime Video. I'm in so much trouble. Anyway, Erica, day out with Luna.
In the most respectful, non-sexual way, now that she has a rideable form, and as someone who, I'm a horse girl, I rode horses for quite some time, I would ride her for hours. Respectfully, oh my god, I was like, must ride when I saw her. Maybe I could take her to a rage room, wear her out a little, and then maybe she'd let me just hop on, and we could just go on like a trail ride. And then afterwards, I feel like a Sleep Token concert. Yeah, I feel like we get along very well. Yeah, she and I.
Okay, this is going to be a challenge to all you fan artists. I need fan art of Erica Lindbeck writing Luna, but I need it done in like the style of like one of those paperback romance novels, like a classic horse girl novel. Like that's what we need.
Hey, Graham, if you're there.
Richard Orvis.
It starts out with a champagne brunch where we get to know each other over mimosas and Bloody Marys. And this, of course, is before the matinee of Hamilton, where we get kicked out after the opening number for singing along with the guy. How does a bastard orphan son of a whore and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of the forgotten spot of the Caribbean by providence and squalor grow up to be a hero and a scholar? For $10 founding father with something to eat at Junior's. We throw up on the pastrami, don't ask. Then we head over to the 8 o'clock showing of Phantom, only to discover it was closed 10 seasons ago now. So we cry, we hold each other, and decide we don't need a production, we'll sing it ourselves. So we sing the entire score. I gave you my music. And after that, we go and we meet up with Oz so that we can do karaoke with Ozzy. And then we come home and cuddle with Millie the rest of the night. Millie!
And now Vivian. Vivian, a day out with Millie.
So, we get up very early. Myself, Millie, Moxie, my husband Justin, my 3 girls. We pack up the van. We drive to the woods to an Airbnb. We're eating breakfast prepared thoughtfully by Moxie. They stay in the house. Myself and Millie go hunting. Mostly by foot with knives and swords. We return to the house with the fresh kill. I teach her how to cook. We have a family dinner. It's beautiful. I drink Bloody Marys.
Yes.
You drink Bloody Marys.
I just drink blood.
My husband has whiskey. My kids have Bloody Marys for my teats. We put the kids to bed. Me and Moxie, no, Millie, god damn it, not me.
Listen, I've seen that fan art too.
Millie and Moxie retreat to the room. Me and Jazz retreat to our room. And the rest is history.
That paints in a picture. Brandon, you know what the fucking question is. A day out with you and Blitz.
Well, we're starting at 7-Eleven. The one that sells the blueberry coffee. I will get a couple of those and crumble some Quest cookies into it, and then we'll go to a firework factory and steal as many fireworks as possible. And then we'll go to the Tillamook farm where they do cheese, and we will burn our cholesterol and light the fireworks inside one of the barns and blow it sky high. And then we will watch the sunset as we free all the cows. Yeah, and then I think we'll just go back to 7-Eleven and get some vapes. And then fuck each other. I don't know.
I get the look from Brandon, both. Like, why the fuck aren't you asking me questions? And then afterwards, why the fuck did you ask me a question?
I didn't even think about my answer until it got to me.
And after hearing all these responses from the cast,
What about you, bitch?
I'm at the supporting cast panel tomorrow. I'm asking you people questions. Viv, question for you. Now that you've heard everyone's answers, now connected they are to their characters, do you feel that your casting was just completely 100% spot on from the start, or do you feel that the characters have evolved more and more into their VAs?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you guys have spent so much time with these characters now, and there's probably parts of them that you're finding, I get. I mean, I don't know, Brandon kind of has always been a huge part of Blitz, so with you, it's just like, I don't...
You don't know which part.
But like, I don't know, like, I mean, I made the joke recently because there's certain like quirk, and it's not even like the quirks you'd expect, because every character I try to like give very specific like interests or likes or whatever. And some of them start off as jokes, but I found doing more cons with not just this cast but also the Has Been cast. I made the association of like, you know how in 101 Dalmatians everyone looks like their pet, or just in general, like you know, you're just kind of like your pet doesn't look anything like you, doesn't act, but you somehow match.
Yep.
I feel like I found that for some of the cast, if not everybody, that's kind of you with your characters. Like there's an element of like 1 degree of you match. It makes sense. I am not a possum. like Richard, your musical theater. I have found you are very close to musical theater.
I will say that when my wife asked me what I got cast as, I said, Osmodius, the demon of lust. And I was waiting for whatever answer. She was like, not surprised. I was like,
Okay, let me just say, that's way better than the opposite reaction.
She kind of like ended here.
She's like, really? And she was like, not surprised.
You dog. So basically what you're saying, Viv, is that you have the easiest casting process if this thing ever goes on stage.
Yes, so.
And on Prime, I can do it nude. I do it nude in the booth because you can't see us, and I am allowed to.
And aren't you naked under those clothes?
I am naked. You are nude as shit under there.
I am. I'm nude under my clothes.
And you're free-balling it right under those pants. And diaper.
I think I have time for maybe a few questions. You only have about 5 minutes left, and I can take a few questions from the audience. Just keep in mind, no spoilers or anything like that, and also we know you're a fan of the show. So, all right, you Nifty, you ran up very, very fast. Hello.
Someone turn her on.
Y'all are doing a great job already. Let's go.
Hi, sorry. So I know that now that Amazon is going to be airing Helluva Boss alongside Has Been Hotel.
Closer.
What the?
Right there.
Sorry. So now that Helluva Boss is going to be alongside Has Been Hotel, I know that some of you have characters in Has Been as well as Helluva. So without spoiling anything, how do you think your characters that you voice in Has Been would fare with some of your characters in Helluva Boss?
I'm gonna say so. So basically, what you're asking is, what Has Been character would you pair with your Helluva Boss
I
character?
know that's not what I asked.
Got it.
Okay, we got it.
Here, just like hang out with. Who would you get along best with?
Okay, but your character that you voice in Helluva Boss, how do you think they would fare in a day with the character you voice in Has Been?
I think Luna, Charlie could teach Luna a little bit about just choosing happiness, you know?
So I can answer this because I've been both shows too, Brandon. I probably would have gather around children. I would probably have Fizz and Penchus sort of hang out and maybe I think they would talk about their likes and dislikes, but I think they would get along fairly good. I think that Penchus would have a lot of warm feelings about Fizz. I'm trying to be so like nuanced about the answer first, and it's not working. It was meant to be funny. Sorry.
Thank you so much. All right, Everlyn, let's go up. Let's speed run these questions. We have a few minutes left.
Okay, my question is one for Richard, but then for everybody else too, because we know that Richard is your very amazing voice director, and you guys usually act opposite of you, Richard. So my question is, I know you mentioned before that you love voicing Sir Penchus, but specifically on Helluva Boss, who is your favorite character besides Moxie to voice when you're doing like opposite? Like whose lines are really fun to say?
Well, I like this to I like to do Brandon. Shut your tit holes. Shut your tit holes.
And then can I ask a really quick follow-up question? That's that for other people, when you guys are recording opposite Richard, who do you really love his impression of? Like who does he do a good voice of?
He does a great blitz.
He does a great
Yes,
blitz.
he does.
do.
Yeah. They need to. It's like the cat's butthole cut, like release the Horvitz cut.
Release the Horvitz. Release the Horvitz. Let's go.
Hi there. So for the voice actors and also for Richard Horvitz, because you're the voice director,
Whatever Richard is.
So when you're doing a lot of the heavier, more like scenes where it's a lot of like upset feelings, a lot of like yelling, how do you get into that headspace of for that kind of emotion? And Richard, how do you direct that kind of scene?
Good question. One thing that I always talk about is very quickly, we are like the same people in serious situations as we are in comical situations.
Yeah.
The situation is what we focus on. So when I direct, I just set the situation, like say for Brandon, I go, you know what? You can't relate to him because you think of it only as sex, but he's blah, blah, blah. And I set the playground, and I've never had to give a line reading to anyone on here because they are amazing actors. Their instincts are spot on. So my job is honestly very easy.
Yeah.
I think just to answer the emotional thing, sometimes you can feel it, but if you're not feeling it, we're all performers, so we have to, it doesn't matter if we feel it, it's really about you, it's about the impact. So sometimes it really is choreography of the voice, you know? It's not always something you have to feel, because I think if we did that, we would be miserable. You know, if we had to bring that actual emotion to the thing, I think we would genuinely be upset. So it is nice to know that we can kind of switch hats around. It's healthier.
Good question, my friend.
All right, thank you so much. We have time for one more. All of you, after that, ask it at the same time.
Quick to the point. If your character, all of you, if your character was a fruit product, what would they be?
Thank God we got to that one. Tacos. All right, go, Beth. We've got it. Go for this question.
I said fruit product.
You said food product?
No, fruit product.
Fruit product. Oh, okay. Thank God. I got yes. Black cherry.
Apricot preserves.
I'm feeling strawberry for Luna.
Fruit roll-up.
Cherry cheesecake.
Richard Simmons.
Thank you.
How's it going, guys? And that just knocked me out. Everyone, we're signing downstairs. All of us have a booth. Come ask us questions.